Ferrari suffered their worst weekend of the season so far in Baku. Both cars retired worryingly early in the race due to different issues, as did Zhou Guanyu and Kevin Magnussen, who were both driving cars powered by Ferrari engines. The team's problems are starting to create tension between the drivers, and things might just explode in Canada. This could be huge for Ferrari's season, so stick around till the end of the video for all the information. It was an afternoon to forget in Azerbaijan for Ferrari, as both Leclerc and teammate Carlos Sainz retired from the race with engine failures, leaving Max Verstappen to lead Sergio Perez to a Red Bull 1-2, extending both his and the team's World Championship lead. For Leclerc, it was a second retirement from the lead with an engine failure in 3 races, after he called on his team for no more mistakes following disappointments in Spain and Monaco. It hurts. We really need to look into that for it not to happen again. I can't really find the right words to describe it, said Leclerc, who dropped below Perez to 3rd in the World Championship standings. It's very, very disappointing. I don't know, we really need to look into it. After taking an early pit stop under the virtual safety car following Sainz's retirement on lap 9, the Monegasque driver was back up front and battling with Verstappen when disaster struck, and a plume of smoke was seen coming out of his engine on lap 20. Carlos Sainz's retirement on lap 9 was due to a hydraulics issue that Ferrari have already put a short-term fix in place for. Hydraulic components on Carlos's car have already been examined, Ferrari confirmed. A short-term fix is in place for Canada, while work is ongoing on mid to long-term solutions. The big worry for Ferrari with these latest 2 retirements is that they're for completely different things. What this means is that the team obviously have a number of issues with the car, not just the one, and they'll probably keep finding new ones as the season goes on. After 3 races, Leclerc was 46 points clear of Red Bull's Verstappen, and Ferrari appeared to have a good chance of a first title since 2008. But their lack of reliability has hit them hard. 3 car retirements in the last 3 races is awful for the team's point scoring. Red Bull had the same thing happen to them in the first 3 races of the season, but have since turned it around and are now comfortably on top of both championships. So this latest round of retirements isn't the end of the world for Ferrari. Don't get me wrong, it definitely isn't good, and they need to get their car working reliably this week to avoid falling too far away from Red Bull in the championships. But Red Bull's return to form after the first few weeks shows that it's definitely a salvageable situation. The DNF means Leclerc has been unable to convert 4 successive pole positions into race wins, becoming the first driver to do that since Juan Pablo Montoya in 2002. We've been fast, but we didn't have particularly big problems in the first part of the season, Leclerc added. I think we have a bit more compared to the beginning of the season, but we didn't change massive things. If anything, we made the thing better. It's difficult to understand for now. We'll have to analyze it. I don't have the full picture of what happened today, but just personally, again, it hurts. In fact, Charles has converted so few of his pole positions to wins, 4 of 15, that he's actually the worst driver in F1 history at winning a race from the front of the starting grid. This isn't even the most damning stat for Charles Leclerc. He's managed to convert 4 pole positions into race wins in his entire career. They came at Spa in 2019, Monza in 2019, Australia in 2022, and the season opener in Bahrain in the same year. But Max Verstappen has managed to convert 5 of Charles Leclerc's pole positions into race wins. How have things gone so badly that Max Verstappen is more likely to win a race that Charles sits on pole than Charles himself is? Well, the reliability issues are a big part of it. 2 of those pole positions that Max has converted into race wins have come in the last 3 races, thanks to Charles Leclerc's car giving up. Spain and Baku will have been painful, because losing a race to a mechanical issue is tough, but finishing 4th after starting on pole in Monaco will have been the most painful race for Charles this season. Again, it was the team, not Leclerc, that made mistakes, as his team's pit stop strategy was diabolically bad. After the race in Baku, Leclerc said, "It hurts. I don't really find the words to describe. Obviously, it's very disappointing. We need to look into it to not happen again. Just personally, again, it hurts. I really don't know for now. I have no news. Obviously, there's still the disappointment. I came from the car straight to here and didn't speak to anyone from the team, so I don't know what's going on." At the start of the season, we, along with a large majority of the F1 media, thought Ferrari were in for an incredible season. They looked fast enough to beat Red Bull in the races and didn't have the same issues with reliability that their opposition did in the early races. It wasn't just them that were performing incredibly either. It was everyone that was buying their engines as well. It's amazing just how quickly fortunes can change in Formula 1 though. Of course, it isn't just Leclerc that's worried about their reliability issues. Mattia Binotto has been coming under fire from Ferrari fans about the team's struggles. Questions have been asked in the past of the former engineer about whether he has the skills to take Ferrari back to the historical position as a top team in Formula 1. The strategy mistakes and reliability problems within the team at the moment are causing those questions to be asked again. After their most recent round of retirements, he admitted they need to urgently analyse why reliability has become such an issue in the last few races. Certainly, it is a concern. We said it even before coming here to Baku, Binotto said. Reliability is always a factor, which is a key factor in the battle, as performance is. As a team, we pushed a lot through the winter last year to develop the car. We've proved that we're not yet fully reliable. There's still some work to be done. The big problem for Ferrari is that there isn't really any time to make changes to the engine before the Canadian Grand Prix. This means they'll be running a new engine in Charles' car in Canada, which will have the same problem the engine in Baku did, and they won't know whether it's going to go wrong again or not. In the short term, if Canada goes badly for Ferrari, it is a very real worry that they might be out of the Drivers' Championship. Something that was unimaginable for the team 5 races ago. It's hard to imagine Montreal as anything but a must-win race for the Scuderia, but Mattia Binotto hasn't been rising to questions about it. He was recently asked whether Ferrari are worried about where the championship is going. "It's not something we're looking at, honestly," revealed Binotto after the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. "We are focused on our results and focused on trying to get the most out of our race weekends, trying always to improve ourselves. We know that to get to the top there is still a gap. I think we've proved that we had some problems in the last race, and we're simply focused on trying to improve ourselves race by race. My only concern today is, what are we lacking?" questioned the Ferrari boss. "I'm no engineer, but I can answer that one for you, Mattia. It's reliability that you're lacking. The long-term problem for Ferrari is that the engines are currently undergoing homogenization, meaning that the teams can't make changes to the engines except for reliability reasons. With the FIA's approval, of course. There is more misery to come as the Ferrari drivers are on the cusp of engine penalties, as too are the Scuderia customers, Haas and Alfa Romeo. Teams are only allowed to use 3 engines this season, and using any more than that will result in grid penalties like we saw with Hamilton in Brazil last year. German journalist Michael Schmidt has reported that Ferrari have already requested to make reliability improvements to their engine, but have been unsuccessful. Because the technology for the combustion engine was frozen at the end of February, and the hybrid system has to be immodulated at the end of September, it was obvious for Ferrari to first look at the power and performance development. They wanted to take care of the reliability later if necessary. The regulations allow for corrections to be made if you can prove to the FIA it's all about ensuring reliability. What is far more worrying is they must now launch a new unit without knowing what caused the recent vulnerabilities and how to respond to them. Ferrari had previously requested a reliability repair from the FIA without resounding success. Everyone knows by now that the Ferrari engine is the best on the grid in terms of power output. But what use is all that power if the engine is just going to break down every few races? The engine problems aren't as easy to solve as aerodynamic issues either, and they're a lot more expensive to fix. Unfortunately for Ferrari, they're going to have to take grid penalties later this season, and that is only going to upset the drivers even more. Charles Leclerc will not be happy about his record as the worst driver in F1 history at converting poles to race wins, but if we're honest, that isn't going to change anytime soon. How do you rate Ferrari's season so far? Is their reliability problem going to cost them any chance at winning a championship this year? Let us know your thoughts in the comments section. Until we see you next time, drive safe and bye-bye.